All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, great millstone, who teach very well while not this truth from. And salutation out there to the hopeful elect who continue to push this word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And also shalom to all the men, women, and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And today, man, just basically touching and getting on the destruction. Because the destruction here in the latter end is a must. And all the tools or the ingredients for the destruction is here upon the planet Earth. It's not like people have to go out to Mars or they got a mine on the moon. No, all the ingredients are here in this building, man. The Lord have set up the scientists. You go back into Abraham, Esau, from Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer. All these different guys actually created the weapons of mass destruction. And that was their light, ultimately, man. Because Esau, he is the sword, and the ultimate sword is with those ICBM missiles. Let's go ahead and get something real quick. This is the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 54 and verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. Right there. That instrument is not talking about a tuba or a damn trumpet. No, that instrument is talking about those missiles. They have an article to back it up. It says, and I have created the waster to destroy. Now let's go ahead and get this real quick. America is racing to build the most fearsome hypersonic missile in the world. These are the weapons that will win wars, and ultimately, these are the weapons that's going to end wars, man. This is going to be the weapons that's going to end war forever, because it's going to tell you right here. Let's go to Isaiah the 2nd chapter. This is why the missiles is a perfect part of this time. Because after this time, it's going to be peace forever. There's not going to be no reason for people to guard up and getting ready to fight. And even though it says, America have they tested, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, these guys are already ready. For lack of better words, they already got their missiles cocked. But at the same time, certain things have to play out and certain prophecies have to be in order. Scripture said, let all things be done decently and in order. That's even talking about the prophecies. So no one prophecy is going to leapfrog another. Again, before the missiles hit, it have to be a mandation, a mandatory thing for people to take a tiny little device inside their hand or in their foreheads. But let's get this real quick. Just going back and telling you that for the lack of better words, after this society, it's not going to be war anymore. Let's go in and get something real quick. This is the book of Isaiah 2, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, and he shall judge among the nations, just talking about the kingdom of heaven, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. So the material that the aluminum and all that BS that you use to make the missiles, you're going to make those into farming tools. It says, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So this is the time when these devils is finna get all that blood shed out. Now all these nations, all that built up frustration you had living under the so-called white man, it's a time to let those emotions out. And it's really going to be now. It's going to be in the form of World War III, the Battle of Armageddon, the Battle of Megiddo. It's like not Megiddo, it's like Armageddon one. But at the same time, just going back, Yahweh Shai is setting up the missiles to be the end all be all. Not just the end all and be all of war, but the end all and be all of this current society. This is the book of Revelations 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That second woe is talking about World War II, and that third woe is talking about World War III. Now that third woe, it's a thing, 3 strikes you out. This is going to be the third time that the so-called white men have caused wreckage not only in his area but throughout the whole world. You know, and again, these people wasn't prepared the first time, even the second time, even though the weaponry was more, high tech or whatever, they wasn't truly prepared. This time here, all nations are ready, man. For lack of better words, they have 20 to 15 years to prep for this time right here, man. Because people think that these third world countries is just some guys that's eating out the trash can. No, when it says they beat their swords into pruning hooks and their pruning hooks into spears, for lack of better words, instead of these people investing into the agriculture, they're going to invest into their weaponry, man. But in the kingdom, they're going to invest into that agriculture because things are going to be righteous. In the kingdom of heaven, it's not going to be no reason for people to go back and forth, man. There's not going to be no reason, for somebody to pull out the scrap. Now, I ain't going to say it ain't going to be no scuffles, niggas, throwing fisticuffs. But as a whole world, the whole nation, for the lack of better words, everybody upon the planet Earth swinging knives, it's not going to be like that because it's going to be peace upon the planet Earth under the nation of Israel. But under the nation of Esau is nothing but death and destruction and war. Ecclesiastes 3, and let's start at verse 1. To everything there's a purpose in a time. It's like to everything there's a season in a time to every purpose under the heaven. Let's jump down to verse 8. It says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we are at the time of war. And the reason why, because the so-called white man is at the tail end of his society. He's at the tail end of his rulership, and he's finna come into a form of desperation to try to hold on it, man. And then again, it's going to come in the form of him trying to take resources, but ultimately it's going to come in the form of him trying to bomb everybody. If he can't have the kingdom of heaven, no one can. Even it's a thing that those people in Israel got called Project Samson. Basically, if the state of Israel, because it's not a nation, the state of Israel that's over there in the Middle East, if they start to fail, then they have a plan to automatically shoot out missiles. And it's going to lead to mad mutual aerial destruction, man. And again, the only person you can blame for that is the so-called white man. But again, the weapons that they have upon the planet Earth now is going to be to end wars, not to win wars. Just like how Fat Boy and Little Boy ended World War II, these hypersonic missiles is going to end World War III and ultimately end the so-called white man rulership. It's a time of hate and war in order for us to get to peace. Like it says in Acts 14 chapter, through much tribulation shall we enter to the kingdom of heaven. So in order for us to enter into this peaceful estate, things have to play out. And one of those things is those ICBM missiles hidden throughout the four corners of the world. So I pray this video is edifying. We give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, and Shalom.